Hello, everybody. How you all doing? Don't know what that's about. Hey, everybody. How you all doing? Don't know why that's just come on the screen. I'm doing it on a different setup. I'm doing it on my phone, not my laptop. So things are a hell of a lot different on here. Very, very strange. I don't want to keep sharing that link. I don't know what that's about. No, I'm not sharing the referral link. Go away. Sorry about that, guys. Not on a laptop, like I said, on the phone. Testing this out because we've got a few interesting dates coming up. We've got the 1st of May coming up. I'm going to be in Chesterfield at the May Day um, rally thing that goes on, and it's going to be interesting because that's where all the communists turn up. That's where that guy turned up the last time and tried to walk into me. Wasn't a good idea. So yeah, that could be fun. So how have you all been doing? It's been a crazy 9 days. That's all I can say. It's been insane, absolute insanity. It's starting to level off a bit now. I'll give you a guided tour of the room. Hey, Brian, how you doing, mate? How you doing? So, lots going on in the country at the minute, isn't there? Uh, we've had Gab, which is the social media site that's been banned in the UK for not complying with the new online safety bill. It's been banned apparently. So it's just getting worse in this country as time goes on. It's getting worse. I'll show you the room. I'll put a light and I'll show you the room. So I don't know how to put the message on screen anymore. See if this will work. I don't know how to put this on the stage anymore because it's weird. It's a lot easier on the laptop to do this sort of stuff. It's on there now. It's on there because James McMurdoch has teamed up with Rupert Lowe on investigating the R gangs. How long is it before James McDermott gets thrown under the bus, just like Ben Habib, Rupert Lowe, and Howard Cox? It won't be long. They'll find something, won't they? I think he wants out. I think he's realised what the party's like and he wants out of the party. That's why he's joined up with Rupert Lowe. So how do we all feel about the? Is that off? That's it. Right, okay. How do you all feel about the Integrity Party, the name of it, that Ben Habib is launched? Has he actually launched it yet? Has he actually launched the Integrity Party? I don't know how to get rid of these. I've got a big thing. I can't read the comments properly on this. So look at this. Right. There we go. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying something new tonight. I'm using StreamYard on my phone. So see if that does anything. I don't even know if it's even on there now. Is it on there? I just kicked myself out of my own live stream. It's very sensitive using it on this phone. It really is. It's a PLC. Oh, so it's actually been launched then, has it? Awesome. I'll give you a grand tour of the room. So that's the room. This is where I'm staying now. So for everybody that doesn't actually know, well, go and watch the previous live stream, and it'll tell you everything that you need to know about what's been happening lately in my life. Yeah, as guest houses go, it's not too bad. It's all right. It'll do for now. When you're used to being in a three-story house, though, in a townhouse, it's a big downgrade. I mean, at least I've got a roof over my head. I can't complain. There's some poor souls out there that don't even have that at the minute. But hey ho, yeah. So it's a PLC, right? Okay. So the Integrity Party is a real thing, right? Whether Reform UK will ever be democratised or not remains to be seen. I don't think it ever will be. Nigel Farage does not like to share power, does he? I think that's obvious. Right, get rid of that. There we go. Yes, he said he launched it. It was mentioned on Dan Wootton along with snide remarks from Alex Taunt. Yeah, they're always going to get that, weren't they? I've been out of the loop. I've been pretty much out of the loop, to be honest with you, regarding things because if internet access is very limited here, the Wi-Fi in this place is really close to dial-up. I've not been able to do the usual research that I can do for live streams, get a load of things going on here and stuff like that. So I apologise for that. I'm not too sure about the Integrity Party name. I was hoping for something a little bit more patriotic, something to like, get rally the people and get behind it. A lot of people have been suggesting names and stuff like that. I personally, I just like the British Patriots Party. British Patriots Party would have been all right, and then have Union Jacks and stuff like that. Something for the people to get behind. The Integrity Party, not too sure about that, really. It doesn't exactly grip you, does it, when you say it, the Integrity Party? I know it's semantics and stuff like that, but because too many ex-Tories close to Sunak are in Reform. Yeah, that's the case with the Reform Party. It's just I don't know. People just keep saying to me, "Oh, I'm going to vote for Reform Party," because it's the same tired arguments, isn't it, over and over again with them. And I'm getting bored now of answering their arguments because it's just the same. It's just the same response every time to them. Really, I'm definitely not going to do this on my phone again. I'm going to try and do it on my laptop next time because this is really awkward doing this. I can't read the comments to start with because my eyes are crap. I'm going to try and get through people's comments, read them out. You can't vote your way out of this system. It's already been given away. How many years has voting worked for you? Exactly. And there's that old saying as well, isn't there, John, that if voting solved anything, they wouldn't allow you to do it. I think there's some truth to that. Yes, Mark, indeed, while talking about the working class. See, I'm out of the loop. I'm out of the loop on a lot of things because I've been a little bit busy. So I'll just keep it brief, but I'll just explain to people what's actually been going on. So a few weeks ago, I received a Section 21 notice, which is a no fault eviction notice on my house. What happened was the landlord went bust, and the bank repossessed the house, and they sold the house, and then they evicted me. And it's been a crazy time because it was an accelerated eviction process as well. So I basically had 9 days to get out of the house after they served. It was a Section 8 possession order. I had to get out, so everything's been really hectic at the minute. That's why I'm on this setup at the minute not on the laptop. I'm just getting used to doing different things, but that's a different story for a different time. If you do, people have asked me, I don't like doing this, but people keep asking me how can they support the channel. So what I've done is I've set up buy me a coffee account. So if anybody wants to donate, they can do. I don't like doing it. I got people asking me in the last live stream, how can we donate to your channel? And I've been asked on Twitter as well, how can we donate to your channel? So I don't seem ungrateful, because people took offense last time when I said, I don't want your money. Basically, if you want to donate, I'm not pressuring anybody to donate. If you want to donate, you can do. If you don't, that's fine. Basically, just liking the video and sharing the video is just as helpful, really, to the channel as anything else, and subscribing, really. But yeah, that's self-promotion out of the way. Let's get back to the comments. If Reform UK wins 2029, will Nigel Farage even be president, or are we going to get Zai Yusuf as chairman instead? I think we're going to get Zai Yusuf. I think Nigel Farage is going to do a bait and switch. I think he's going to win. He's going to get in. He's going to get into number 10. He'll have his moment in front of the cameras, in front of number 10 Downing Street. And then probably a few months down the line, he'll step down due to ill health. And who knows who's going to step in? A lot of people saying it's going to be Zai Yusuf. Something it could be somebody completely different. You know, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? Who knows if they'll even get in power? You know, that they may not do as well in the local elections as they think they're going to do. And if they don't do, I think it all depends on what happens in the local elections. If they do really well, then Farage will stay on. If they don't do really well, I think Farage at some point will just jack it in and retire from politics and go on the talking circuit. And that'll be it, I think. Because let's face it, Farage is the Reform Party, isn't he? I've said this in previous live streams and videos. He centralizes power around himself. He doesn't delegate power to anybody else. There's nobody within that party, really, within the MPs, that, apart from Rupert Lowe when he was there, that could have taken over leadership of the party, in my opinion. You've got Lee Anderson. He's not really leadership material, is he? You've got Matt. I don't think he'll be in the party for much long, because he's thrown his weight behind Rupert Lowe. And you've got Nigel Farage and Richard Tice. Richard Tice isn't leadership material at all. So you've not really got many people in the party that could actually lead, really, have you? Hey, Angel 10, how you doing? How you doing? This is a really weird setup, this is. How you do the comments. There we go. I can't see the thing with the phone is you can't see the comments scrolling. They don't scroll on the phone like they do on the laptop, so it's hard to pick up on people's comments, which is a bit poo. I don't think all Baba has enough to go alone with Farage. Yeah. So some big things coming up. So I've just mentioned that I'm going to be live streaming on the 1st of May from, well, whether what happens on the 1st of May or not, it's usually the first Monday. I don't know what day the 1st of May falls on this year. I think it's in the week, isn't it? Well, usually there's a massive trade union march in town, in my hometown of Chesterfield, and the communists come out to play. So does Hope Not Hate. So does Stand Up to Racism, and all the communists. They're all masked up. It's hilarious. Go and check out the videos on my channel. They're on my channel already from a few years ago, from 2 years ago. But I'm going to be going. I didn't do it last year because I was working last year. But I'm going back again this year to just, whack the hornet's nest with a big stick, and, see if they come and try and have a conversation with me again, because it was quite fun last time. Quite funny. So yeah, we'll try that. So it's on Thursday this time, is it right? Okay, yeah. So yeah, it'll definitely be in the week then. Yes, I shall be there. I'm going to try and live stream it this time, but I'm not going to live stream through StreamYard on this. I'm going to do it directly through YouTube because there's a few more options available if I just live stream on my phone directly through YouTube. Also, I'm going to be, should I say this now or not? Next few days, I'm going to be doing a live stream from a migrant hotel, let's just say, which should be fun. So I'm just trying to sort out the comments. It's really awkward on this thing. Have you watched Dino Bane's video regarding Cameron admitting to all this is planned? Yeah, I watched it. Yeah, I've been catching up on a lot of videos over the last couple of days because, like I said, I've just not had time. I've not had time to do really much internet stuff or online stuff. Really, that's why beginning of the week there wasn't many videos. I think it was 3 days that make a video. I think my first one was yesterday. I was just busy just getting stuff done. I mean, we moved out, and then there was all the backup stuff to do, like cancelling gas, electric, internet, and all that kind of stuff that you have to do. So I've been lagging behind on certain things. I'm catching up at the minute on what's been going off. So yeah, still got it. But Daniel Bain is a top man. He is. He's been on my live streams a few times. Daniel Bain. Think we all knew that it was planned, though, didn't we? We all knew that it was all by design. It was obvious. I mean, from when Blair got into power in what 97, this was all planned. The managed decline of the country. It was all planned, wasn't it? It really was. Because that's when things really started to the tipping point of the country was in 97. That's when the floodgates were opened to mass immigration and illegal immigrant. A blind eye was kind of turned to illegal immigration as well. So yeah, has everybody heard about Gab being banned in the UK? Because I don't think it's not complying to the online safety bill. So I don't know if it's actually been banned, but I watched David Cotain's video. He was saying that he can no longer access it, and he's got thousands of followers on Gab. I know a lot of people use different social media. A lot of them don't use Twitter. They use Gab, Getter, Minds. There's a few others that people use. Well, yeah, apparently it's been banned. We'll have a look at some of these comments on here. They'll come for everybody sooner or later. You're going to see you'll see more regulation on YouTube than is necessary because of Ofcom. You'll see regulation on X if it decides to comply with the guidance of the online safety bill. I think we'll see X pull out, and this is why it's important for everybody to form communities, form groups, and just keep in touch the old-fashioned way, analog way, offline, because eventually you're not going to be able to talk online. It's just going to go completely draconian. It really is. We're losing. We haven't even got free speech in this country anymore. We haven't got democracy. We haven't got free speech. We haven't got freedom of expression. Unless you're of a certain ideology, then the police will protect you with their lives, won't they? I mean, I was watching a video from Rebel Media in Canada where that reporter was just thrown to the floor and violently arrested for reporting the pro-Palestine march. There was a young lad earlier this week. He was just chanting, "Come on, England," going past a pro-Palestinian march, and the police all surrounded him and arrested him as well. It's getting worse. It's getting worse everywhere. Free speech is just non-existent in some countries now. It's definitely not existent in this country anymore. You've really got to be careful what you say. Just crazy. Crazy times we're living in. What's this one? Jack Buckley. UKIP need to careful going forward because if the ex-Tories take over Reform UK from within, They may be try to do it the same with you. Now, I'll tell you something now. Nick Tenconi, he won't allow that to happen. He won't allow ex-Tories to join. He'll thoroughly check them, and if they're anything like a Tory wet or anything like that, they won't be allowed in. It's a good link actually, Jack. You mentioning that because I want to talk about this as well. Because I have seen, I'm not going to mention names, but I have seen it creeping in. There are people on Twitter that are complaining about a new party, about the Integrity Party forming, and this is what happens: you get supporters, and when a new party forms, they immediately see it. A new right wing party forms. They immediately see it as an enemy to be destroyed instead of an ally. And this is what they do. They don't see allies. They don't realise that you the UKIP is going to need allies, and the Integrity Party is going to need allies. And in a way, there's some big personalities. I'm not like I said, I'm not going to mention names that have been saying, "Oh, the Integrity Party is going to fail. It's going to split the vote." And it's like you're saying the same things that the Reform Party has been saying about UKIP, and now you're saying it about the Integrity Party. And it's like the old divisions are coming forward and stuff like that. People just need to stop with the egos and thinking they're the only ones that can save the country. You're not. I said this in my video. You need to form alliances. You need to form networks. You need to form groups. Instead of alienating alternate right-wing parties, you need to be joining with them to make a difference. And I'm looking to see if these certain individuals are going to be putting country first and not party first, because that's what needs to happen. It really does. We don't want to see any egos like, oh, where the big I am, UKIP's going to save the country and all this stuff. I believe UKIP can save the country, but it can't do it without help. It really can't. We need to stop all this ego nonsense and certain people wanting to be the ones to save the country. It's not about that. It's bigger than you. It's bigger than you saving the country. And if that means forming alliances, we need people that can do that. Form alliances to save the country, our culture, our heritage, and our way of life. That's what needs to happen. And that should be at the forefront. That should be what's at the forefront. And people need to realize that in order to do that, we need alliances with different right-wing parties. PACs need to be formed. Because this is something the Reform Party refused to do. They refused to form alliances with other political parties. They were asked, but they refused to join it. In fact, UKIP actually asked at one point, they asked when everybody thought Reform was going to be a force of change, they asked the Reform Party to form an alliance and they refused. And that was their big mistake, in my opinion. We need alliances. We really do. Look at what's happening in Northern Ireland at the minute. You've got Protestants and Catholics joining forces, that they're putting aside their differences because they know they have to fight the common enemy. And that common enemy is what we're facing right now. It's the far left, it's the globalists, it's the Marxist, it's evil. That's what we're facing at the minute. And it's like what I said, it's like my knowledge in a video. It's during World War II, everybody came together to fight a common enemy. And that's what needs to happen to this country if we're going to save it. Because if we let egos get in the way and people start putting ego and party before country, we're just going to fail, aren't we? We're just going to fail. And nobody wants that because we're already at the breaking point. And UKIP and the Integrity Party and the Great British Pack are our last hope to save this country, aren't they? So, as followers of certain people, you need to be saying to them, look, you need to form alliances. This is not the way to go. Stop putting your ego first. Stop pulling a party down before it's even started. And instead of attacking it, try and form alliances with it. And I think it will. To be honest with you, I think Nick Tenconi will do that because he's part of the Great British Pack, which Ben Habib is the chairman of. So I think they will be having conversations along with Rupert Lowe, and whether there'll be a merger or there'll be an alliance formed, who knows? But that's what needs to happen. It does. Be realistic. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be realistic. If we have an obligation to tell these people what we want to see happen. I don't want to see infighting between UKIP and Integrity because they see the Integrity Party as a threat. If anything, UKIP really needs to rebrand. It needs to get rid of that pound sign flag as its symbol and replace it with the Union flag, in my opinion, because that's the trouble with the UKIP. And it's not so much its manifesto. Its manifesto is awesome. Nick Tenconi is awesome. It's its branding. It's its look. It still has the aesthetics of what Nigel Farage gave it. Nigel Farage has got his hands all over it. And I think when Nick Tenconi took over, he should have completely rebranded the party, kept the UKIP name, but just got rid of everything that Nigel Farage actually was involved with the aesthetic of the party. Get rid of the purple, get rid of the pound flag because that's dated. It really is dated. Rebranding. That's what they should have done, really. And I don't like the name of the Integrity Party. I don't like that name either, to be honest with you. I think the British Patriots Party would have been far better, or the British Patriots Freedom Party, something like that, something with a bit of oomph, so that people can rally behind and get behind it, be patriotic. Flag would be banned as racist. No, it wouldn't. And this is why we need strong leaders, because we need people that are going to be brave enough to fly that flag, the Union flag, the flag that stood for freedom, you know, all over the world at some point. And we need people like Nick Tenconi, Ben Habib, Rupert Lowe that are going to turn around to the media and the far left who call it racist and say it's not racist. And that's how you win. This is how we win the battle, by challenging them, by pushing them back on their assertions. You say, well, how is the flag racist? And when they can't answer, they're the ones that look stupid because they can't answer. They can't answer why the St. George's Cross is racist. They can't, because it isn't. That's the whole point. It's not racist. Have any other leaders got 100% integrity? Awful name. Exactly. It's not. It's not good. And it's not something everybody can get behind. The Integrity Party. It's a bit dull, in my opinion. I'm glad Ben Habib is launching it and stuff like that. We need it. We've asked for it, but the name's a bit dull and boring. Yeah, you want something. If you're going to launch something new and be something different, then the British Patriots Party. But what's better than that? Because that's inclusive of everybody. That's inclusive Scotland, Wales, England, everybody, isn't it? The Integrity Party. It's not a good name. St. George's Cross is supposed to be the blood of Christ red on our white country's flag. Exactly. There's nothing wrong with St. George's Cross. The only reason the far left call it racist is because it was used in the Crusades. And a certain demographic in our country find it offensive because that flag was the one that was charging towards them and chasing them out of Europe whilst the Crusades were going on, when we were, wiping out a certain demographic for taking over European countries. They were pushed back. They don't like it. That's the only reason the far left don't like it. I bet if you asked them, they wouldn't even know why they don't like it. Half of them. Have you seen these people that go around to these protests and they ask them what they're protesting for? They haven't got a clue. They haven't got a clue what they're actually protesting about. Any of them. Like, do you actually know what infertata is and all that kind of stuff? And like, oh, what's that? They don't know. They don't know what it is. What do you mean? It's like the chat's have its own conversation, which is always good. Why don't we rebrand the Integrity Party as the British National Party? I don't think that'll be a good idea. The BNP, that's already been taken, Jack. Not a good look for a new party, really. Especially with the old BNP and what it was about. I don't think that will be a good branding name. The British Patriots Party, that's something people can get behind. I can name hundreds of parties that have formed and failed. There isn't a political solution. Once people understand that, things might start to change. I agree, but what we're going to do? What are we going to do? Do we wait for everything to collapse, for chaos, and then take action? Because if you try to take any sort of action, and I think you know what action I mean, John, then you're going to get raided. The police are going to kick your door in, and they're going to raid you, and then you're going to be carted off to prison, and then you're going to face a hefty prison sentence. So, what we're going to do? What we're going to do about it? It's strange this thing works. It's like I have to press it twice when on the laptop. I only have to do it once for some reason. But yeah, what are we going to do? Mainstream media always portray the flag as racist. Well, this is why we need, like I said, this is why we need strong leaders. We need somebody that's going to challenge that, don't we? We need somebody that's going to put them on the spot. You know, like they do with Tommy Robinson when they say, name me when he's been racist. Tell me when he's been racist," and they can never do that. We need to put them on the spot with a flag as well. Say, "Tell me how it's racist. Explain to me how this flag is racist," and just make them look stupid for even saying it because they don't know themselves. They haven't got a clue. What I don't understand is why Ben, Rupert, and Howard don't take over Reform. It's a company after all. They can start by suing Nigel. It's more complicated than that because they can't take it over because both Zaya Yusuf because it's not a publicly floated company. It's a private company. So what they've done is they've just halved the shares in the country between uh, of the company between themselves. So they're both majority shareholders. Zaya Yusuf has half, Nigel Farage has half. So there's no way for anybody to go and buy them out. It's not publicly floated, if you know what I mean. It's not on the stock exchange or anything like that where you can go and buy shares in Reform 2025. Can't do that. That's the issue. I will come down to physical intervention, otherwise we bow down to Islam. It's as simple as that. I think that's what it's going to come to. I mean, how many people now have come forward that are in, they're not, these aren't tin foil hat wearing people. that are saying this, that have said, within the next 5 years, civil war is a real possibility in this country. How many people have said it now? It's a lot, isn't it? Because we're getting squeezed. I think the big thing that's going to happen is not so much now. It's the summer. Um, when all the prices go up, all the heating prices are going to go up, all the energy prices are going to go up. It's going to put even more strain on families and people than that are already struggling. And when winter comes, and when people can no longer, that they're actually going to have to choose between heating their home and feeding their families, this is when you're going to start to see, you know, tempers flaring because they can't afford things anymore. People haven't noticed it yet with the prices going up and stuff like that. I mean, look at wages at the minute. Wages, what's the tax rate now? People are getting, what is it, a third of their wages taken off them. So you're not getting as much in your wage packet anymore. Then all of a sudden, all the bills are starting to rise again because of this net zero madness that our lunatic government is putting on us, and people are going to struggle. The times you see unrest is when the population is put under deep stress, when they're struggling to actually survive. Because at the minute, people are actually living in this country. They're not living, they're just existing. They're living from paycheck to paycheck. But in a bit, they're not going to even be able to do that. They're going to be struggling to do that. Their wage packet isn't going to stretch as far as it used to because food prices keep rising and rising and rising. Energy prices keep going up and up and up. And sooner or later, people are going to start, defaulting on their mortgage payments. It's going to get bad. And that's when you're going to start to see things happening in this country. Right, let's have a look at some more of the comments. 75 patriots watching this. Yep, awesome. Brilliant. How's everybody liking the live stream? Is the audio okay? Because this is coming through my phone. I haven't got the big streaming microphone. That's all in storage now. Most of the tax system is a scam. I agree. We get taxed on everything. How about the truth, the whole truth party? Everything is fine. Great. Audio fine. Fantastic. I'm actually using the camera for a change. Usually, at the last place, I couldn't use a camera because for some reason, every time I used the camera, it made the live stream lag. I don't know what it was. I don't know why it did that. Hey, Mark. You're never too late, mate. Don't worry about that. So the conversation, we're just talking about the state of the country. At the minute, we're talking different subjects. Actually, we're talking about the Integrity Party, the state of the country, where it's all going to go. I think I've definitely seen a change in people as I'm walking around my town. Definitely. We're settled in. I'll show you. I'll show you the room. This is the room. There you go. That's the room. Got a TV. Got a microwave. Got a fridge. That kind of thing. I've got a bathroom and stuff. So yeah, we can see that. I probably saw that. But yeah, we've been told we can only be in the guest house for 6 weeks. That's how long they can legally keep us in a guest house. Then we're told we're going to be moved to a 2-bedroom flat, and after that, it could be, we don't know how long it's going to be. They told us it could be a long wait to get a house, a council house, 3-bedroom council house, because that's what we need. So we don't know. We just don't know at the minute. Time to build a new party. Unfortunately, we don't have that. Yeah. Better than the Ritz. Yeah, the thing is, not a lot of people know this. I have PTSD and I get cabin fever. I feel like the walls are closing in. So the beauty of having your own house is you can just go out in your garden and get away from it all. But here, it's like you're in this room, and it can get a little bit claustrophobic sometimes. I have to go out for a walk and stuff like that. So yeah, it's it's okay. I'm glad I've got it because I know a lot of people out there don't have this, and they're in some really shitty guest houses. And this is quite nice, actually. It's quite a nice one. I'm not going to go into the other reasons because it's a bit personal, but there is a reason why we got a pretty decent guest house rather than being put in a shitty one. It's a terrible situation you're in, but pray things get better for you. Yeah, they will, mate. They say once you hit rock bottom, the only way up is up, isn't it? So yeah, the way I look at it is we've got a roof over our head. There are lots and lots of people far worse off than I am. There are a lot of people on the streets. I think about the veterans that don't get offered this. There's that guy the other week, that guy who was holding. He was the pallbearer for Princess Diana's coffin, and the poor guy froze to death on the streets. He asked for accommodation, and they gave him a sleeping bag, and the guy was found frozen to death. I thought that was absolutely disgusting, but that's what they do. That's what our government does. They don't give a crap about people. I can feel a bit of a rant coming on. I had to sign on at the job centre today because obviously I'm out of work at the minute as well, and you can tell the diversity inclusion stuff was on full show there because I went in and they could hardly speak English. Yeah, I'm not kidding. They could hardly speak English, and it was like they were asking me questions. I had to keep repeating them because I didn't understand what they were saying because it was like broken English. And I'm thinking to myself, how the hell are these people getting government jobs like this when they can't even speak English? How is that even allowed to happen? But it is. And you go in there, you get treated like a criminal, even though I've paid into the system my whole life, paid into the system my whole life, and it's a pittance. It's not loads of money I'm getting. I've paid in all my life, and I'm getting £393 a month from Universal Credit. That's it. After paying in all my life, and yet a mile down the road, you've got an illegal immigrant hotel where they're getting everything for free: dental, food, accommodation, everything's for free. I'm not getting this for free. I have to pay £90 a month for this guest house. Not free. I have to get stuff to get my own food, stuff like that. And it's like we're just idiots. We're absolute idiots. And again, I'm not. This is not a sob story about me. I'm thinking about the thousands of people out there that are far worse off than I am. And you've got to think of their situation when you've got these illegal immigrant hotels where they're getting absolute everything they want. They're getting free taxis. Some of them, I was going to do a video about this before I left the other house, but didn't get a chance. There are people down in Cornwall, the illegal immigrants, that are getting driving lessons. They're getting driving lessons for free. Yet when I went years ago, and what was it? I was just doing my SA license, and I was getting it through the job centre, and I said, was there a chance to put me through my driving license? Well, no, that's a luxury. You've got to do that yourself. It's considered a luxury for people like us who've paid into the system, but for people who've just arrived in the country, oh no, that's a necessity. Crazy what's happening. A few weeks ago, I had a job offer. I went into the job centre. I needed my passport renewing. I said, "Can you renew my passport for me?" And they said no. We have to justify how the government spends taxpayer money. Well, it's like it's my money. It's my money I've paid into the system. All I'm doing is claiming my money back that I've paid into the system over the years. And it's like you're giving all these people free shit every day, and yet I can't even get something that would help me get a job. I got a job offer. I had a solid job offer. It was because it was an advanced vetting process. They needed my passport. They wouldn't even do that for me, so that job went. Can't even get a job now, to be honest with you, in security, which is my profession. Any job really in this area because it's all diversity, equity, and inclusion. You're automatically at the back of the queue for every job. I'm 51 years old as well, so that's going against me. There are not many companies that are going to hire a 51-year-old where they're going to invest in younger people. It's just crazy. It's like all at one time you could walk out of a security job and walk straight into another one because there were plenty knocking about. But now it's not the case because they're giving all the security jobs to all these new arrivals that are absolutely shit and don't speak English. I go into supermarkets where I used to work and I say, how are you going on? And they say, well, our security guard's rubbish. We can't communicate with him. We can't tell him what we want him to do. It's unreal. It's unreal what's happening in this country. I'm going on a bit of a rant. I'll tell you something about this, right, Steve? All those supposed security guards that they have at these migrant hotels, they're migrants themselves. 100% they're migrants. They never show their SI licenses. And they get around it because if you have in-house security, so say the firm that is providing the accommodation for the legal immigrants hires security, they don't have to have SI licenses. It's only if you're a third party security company providing security. Say like I go to somewhere like Tesco's, I'm working on behalf of something like Cordant or G4S, then you have to have an SIA license. If the company itself advertises a security job, an internal security job, you don't have to have an SIA license, and that's how they're getting around it, saying they're security. That's why a lot of them don't have SIA licenses. They probably wouldn't be able to get SIA licenses because they don't have a 5-year checkable work history, and they don't have a 5-year address history either. So that's probably why they're not getting SAA licenses. You'll notice that usually there's one that will have it. They'll have an SAA license, and that's it. The rest of them don't. It's like right. I went into the job centre. Right, my predicament at the minute is I need a full-time job. That's what I need. And they try to palm me off because they call them work coaches now, but their job is to get as many people off universal credit as they can and working, which is right. That's what they're supposed to do. Their job, they don't give a shit about you or your predicament. All they want to do is reduce numbers on universal credit. That's their job. They have a quota, they set a quota, and they have to reduce that number down. So they will palm you off, try to pressure you to do any job that they want you to do. I mean, they were trying to get me to go miles away to a distribution center doing order picking and stuff like that. Well, I explained to him, I says, I have PTSD. I can't do that sort of thing. I can't be in stressful environments like that. When I'm working on my own in security, I can manage that myself. I did this when I first came back from Iraq. I went and did agency jobs and stuff like that. And anybody will tell you that's been in the military or anything like that, you become institutionalized. You do. When you go off to war, you come back a different person. And I just didn't fit in. I didn't fit into those environments anymore. Just didn't. That's why you see a lot of veterans out on the streets because they just can't integrate themselves back into society anymore. That's the issue. You know, they build the army builds you up to be this soldier, this warrior type of thing, but they don't prepare the soldiers for coming out of the army. It's like being in prison. They're institutionalized. They come out and they just don't know how to live because when you're in the army, you're told where to shit, where to sleep, you know, what to do, when to eat, and you just don't have that. You don't have that structure, and you don't have the respect either when you come out. You know, some snotty nosed little teenager is moaning at you because you're down on your production levels for the hour, and you think, well, a few months ago I was out in Iraq, you know, fighting ISIS insurgents, and now this little shit in front of me is moaning at me about quotas and stuff like that. Your whole outlook on life completely changes. It really does. You have. I can't explain it unless you've been through it. You don't know. Your whole outlook on life changes completely. What was important to you before you went out there is no longer relevant to you. It really isn't. That's why a lot of people like me do security when they come back because it's the closest thing to that you can get in civilian life. Really, that's why I look at it. A lot of people just can't integrate though, and it's not their fault. It isn't. They can't go into a 9 to 5 job, you know, or you know, working 12-hour shifts in a warehouse because they're not built for it. They're not built to do that anymore. When I came back from Iraq, you know, I couldn't. It was weird. I just couldn't identify with my old friends anymore. I couldn't. I know I'm going off a bit of a tangent, but I'm like trying to explain a little bit of my life. Um, they were all like, oh, football, beer, latest car, that kind of thing. When I came back from Iraq, all that just seemed irrelevant after everything I'd seen. Those petty things that they valued just weren't valued to me, and they still tried to treat me like the person that I was than before I came back from Iraq. When you go out there and you see what the things that you see when you're in war and you come back, it transforms you into a different person. And they still thought I was that same person that was that I was before I went to Iraq. And when I came back, I just couldn't identify with them anymore. Strange. Yeah, get you, Steve. It's just yeah, didn't have a friend from school or college. No, life changes you, and it's not that can happen even if you've not even been in the military or anything like that. Sometimes you can go through something in life that changes you completely, and people still think you're that same person you were years ago, and you're not. I mean, you could go and move away to a different country and then come back, and they still think you're that same person, but you've been through so much, it's changed you to a point where you can't identify with them anymore because they can't get past that you're not that person anymore. That's what it was for me anyway. Integrity Party must accept Tommy Robinson. I think they will. I think they've seen the mistakes the Reform Party has made. If they want to make any kind of headway, and I think they will, when he comes out, I think you know Rupert Lowe and Ben Habib will be on the stage. They'll want to address the United Kingdom rallies because they know that's where their grassroots is, which is something the Reform Party has ignored. The Reform Party doesn't understand the working class or why we protest or why we get out on the streets. They don't understand that because they're old school Tories. You know, I think Carl Benjamin best said what they are. They're basically a party from the 1990s, before um, from before when Tony Blair got in power. They're of that age, that era, sort of thing, and they're trying to enact policies from that era now, which just don't work. We need a proper right wing party to deal with our current situation, and the Reform Party just isn't that. They're not. There's not that. Why anybody would become a centre centre a centrist party in the current climate is beyond me. Traditional support and complete joke. I had one psychiatric nurse tell me that Tim's was normal for men. I said, very woman's how of you. Yeah, they just don't understand. I saw a therapist when I came back. Unless you've been through stuff that they just don't understand. So I'll tell you why I have PTSD. Don't normally do this because it's very personal. It's not something that I disclose, but people need to know. I watched 10 of my friends get killed by an IED out in Iraq. I was lucky. I was behind some reinforced wall at the time. All it did to me was throw me. It threw me like a rag doll, and I remember their screams. I remember them screaming. I remember the heat. I remember them screaming. I remember the smell of burnt flesh, and it was horrific, absolutely horrific. It's something that I don't. This is why I'm so down on these people that keep going on about. We need a revolution. We need a civil war. It's like you don't know what war is like. War isn't something you can just punch in and punch out of. It's not a 9 to 5 job. Once war starts, it's there all the time. You can't get away from it. It's there. And they don't understand what it's like. It's not Call of Duty. People don't respawn when they get shot. They're just dead. You're dead, and they're not coming back. And a civil war is probably the worst type of war because there's nothing civil about it at all. You're talking about a war, complete lawlessness. Society breaks down, and it's not good. The fighting's not in some far off land. It's in your back garden. It's in your streets. It's around your children. Your children will see it. They'll see the horrors of war. And then people think I'm soft. It's like, I'm not being soft. I've seen it. And you don't want your children to see that. I've walked through entire villages where ISIS have wiped out entire populations of people simply because they wouldn't join ISIS. And they killed them. I'm not going to say it on here, obviously, for obvious reasons. Not going to go graphic. But they were killed in the most horrific ways I've ever seen. And it shocked me completely. It's like that people could do that to other human beings. Just don't understand it. My dad fought for this country, was a Queen's Guard, stood outside Buckingham Palace, and it's something he would never discuss. Yeah. It's like he came back and it's like people saying, you need to share your feelings. Like, I don't want to share my feelings. I don't want to talk about what happened to me with complete strangers that know nothing about me or the situation because they were my brothers. They were. You become so close to people because you're basically relying on them for your life and they're relying on you. And then to have all of them wiped out in one go. These are people that I'd known for 5 years. I'd been so close with them. I'd gone through training with them and stuff. And in just an instant, they were gone. There was an inquiry, and I can't go into too much detail because I'm still covered by NDAs about all being out in Iraq kind of thing. But it was they thought it was a truck bomb. I think it was heavily redacted. I got a sheet and it was heavily redacted. There was a few things that they said, but the IED itself was apparently it was £2,000 of explosives, mainly from old Russian munitions that have been smuggled into Iraq, artillery shells with det cord attached to them, remote detonated. So yeah, it's something I'll never forget. I'll never ever forget it, and I'll never forget the faces. But that's enough of that. So when people start calling for unrest and civil war and war, I know the consequences of that. To some people, it's just a game. It's not a game. War's not a game at all. You need to think carefully about what you're saying, about what you're doing. You've got to ask yourself: do you really really want your kids to see that? Because I wouldn't want my kids to see what I saw out there, not in the street. My grand's brother was captured in Battle of 2 years POV. All he ever said about the war was mostly was a butcher, and there was a lot of cowardice in the last 2 years of World War II. Yeah, war is horrific. It changes you, really does. Right, guys, I think I've been going off. How long have I been going on for? An hour and 22 minutes. Right. Well, thank everybody for joining. Right, I'm going to post a link in here. It's just a link to my buy me a coffee thing. Don't want to keep doing it, but people have asked, so if it'll do it, that is. Probably won't even do it now. I'm useless at this thing. Anyway, the link will be in the bar. If you want to go and support the channel, support me in future endeavours. I want to take this channel. I want to start doing stuff when I'm going out and about, doing protests, being at protests, covering protests and stuff like that. I don't want to be stuck in a room all the time. I want to get out and do stuff. So yeah, if you want to help me out, you can by doing that. Anyway, thanks everybody for coming. Really appreciate it, guys. It's good to talk to people, and I shall see you all soon in the next video. This is Vindicator. Sign off. We can actually find out how to sign out this thing. There we go. See you later, guys. Thanks for coming.